Hello and welcome back to Kelburn Castle. So today is all about laying the perfect table. We've been polishing the silver. We're making sure that every item of silver is perfect, even though these items are hundreds of years old. But what we're going to do with the students is make sure they understand what is appropriate wear and what is just showing the age of an item and what is not any good to use. Then we're going to lay up this table. We're going to make sure it looks beautiful. We're going to make sure it's properly symmetrical. We're going to go and gather some beautiful foliage to make a lovely tablescape and a centerpiece. So let's see how that goes.
Oh, there we go. Now I can. You're here.
Yeah, I don't know why it's like right down there. There we go.
Oh, wait, now you're there.
So when you've got something really tarnished like this spoon here, you will have to use quite a lot of the silver polish, and the long-lasting silver polish, it works much better on things which are very tarnished than the foaming one. Although the foaming one is perfect for faster polishing for things like this, which aren't so bad. So, but we do have to make sure that we wash off all that's left of the chemicals from the polish before we put them on the table for people to eat with. But you saw this spoon before and it was basically jet black, near enough. And now, look, that looks beautiful. And I tell you what, if you go on eBay, you will see so much silver for sale for pennies because it looks black. I buy it all the time. Oh wow! Because it's literally for sale for like practically nothing. Yeah. I get it home. I spend 5 minutes with some silver polish, and I get something that looks beautiful like that. See, that's absolutely. How much effort was that? No effort, and it looks absolutely beautiful. But we've got all this sort of tarnished silver to go, and all of this is going to be looking beautiful by the end of the lesson. The handle is bone, so we have to be very careful with the handle. We don't even want to get this handle into hot water, and under no circumstances can it go in the dishwasher. The handle is held on by a kind of glue that's made, it's a natural glue, and if it gets hot, it will just melt and just come undone. So the handle will just fall off. Sorry. So we've cleaned the table, we've polished the table. So next we need to make sure that we've got the right spacing between the chairs. Okay? So we've made it nice and easy for you because of the number here. So first thing, we need to find the dead centre of the table. So how are we going to do that?
Measure position, the length, and find the midpoint.
So that would be the most precise way of doing it, is actually to use a tape measure and take a measurement. But to be honest, we can actually do it easier than that, because look at the table and you'll see it's actually split into equal sections. So this is like the idiot-proof table to make it really easy for you. Each one. So here we go, this is our centre section. So if we move a chair in here, we see that's the middle. And then what we need to do is just equally place out the chairs to even. Now, normally, when we're laying a table, what we do is we first start with the centre of the setting. So the centre of the setting might be a charger plate, it might be a plate, or it might be what we have in this case, which is a placemat. Okay? So placemats are quite popular.
So they don't scratch the table.
Exactly, because we couldn't put plates straight down on this table because it would scratch it a lot. So you could have a hard placemat like this, or you might have like a lace one with a thing under it, or material one. There's millions of different sorts. So we need to make sure this gap is right. So how big did I say the gap was to the edge of the table? Anyone remember?
Thumb.
Perfect, a thumb's width. A thumb's width from the edge of the table, and we can use obviously our thumb to measure that, or if we prefer, if we prefer, we can use our butler stick and we can get our centre and then use that and it give us an exact right angle. Okay? So we've got that and we can use that same distance for all of the cutlery on either side. Now, as you know, I'm all about the experiential learning. So you know what your menu is. We spent this morning writing the menu, you all know off by heart. You've polished all the cutlery. So without conferring, I would like each one of you to lay a setting. Not the glasses yet, we'll do the glasses later. But each one of you to lay a setting that you think is correct. Alex, see this? The idea is that it goes on to the edge.
Got it.
But also you can do the whole setting at once. Okay, hold it.
Okay.
When it comes to doing the training, it's always the most important thing for me that people get their own hands-on experience. I believe that telling someone how to do something is nowhere near as impactful as taking them on a route that they can find out the problems for themselves. So that's why I always let them make the mistakes first before I show them how to solve them.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around each of the settings and any item that is not in the correct place, I'm going to remove from your setting.
Spoon gone.
Spoon gone. And obviously also gone because they were vice versa. Okay? Here we have... Oh, hang on. I just realised. I just spotted a mistake. I said
So
yours.
I put the petits on the inside because it would have been the last. Because you eat from the inside, the outside and coming. So I thought about it. Usually we put our desserts to the top. So when I thought about it, the petits I put on the inside instead of on the outside.
I see. So that's for the petit fours. So, but we will remove
Oh Lord.
those two because they're in the wrong
Wrong
place.
direction.
Yeah. That one is gone. You tell me why that one's gone. Anyone else tell me why I've removed that one? Spot on. It's facing the wrong way. Knife faces that way.
Okay.
Okay. This one's removed.
Okay.
Why do you think?
Is it because it's in the wrong position?
Not quite. You were very close. That's a dessert spoon.
Okay.
That's a soup spoon. See the soup spoon's round?
Yeah.
Dessert spoon's pointy.
Oh, okay, got it.
Okay? So main knife, again, it's in the right place, but it has to be pointing that way.
Got it.
So that's going to go as well.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll swap over that and we'll use Kelsey's as our gold standard. Make sure that you get each piece of cutlery the correct distance from the edge of the table, and obviously that includes the placemat and it includes the side plate. Okay? So make sure you've got everything just right and get it as close to 90 degrees as you physically can. Okay? Now I think you're probably seeing why I said it was so important to count the cutlery before you tray it up, because the fact that you've got, you had ones that were sitting there made you know that there was something missing from the table. So that's why that's an important thing to do. Like, for example, if I use this, because we know that this is exactly a thumb's width, okay?
Yeah, you can just have
You
it.
see-
So, if I put it here, it shouldn't have touched anything, no?
Oh, stuck.
So,
Sorry, Alex.
okay?
Oh.
When we're doing this for the actual meal,
Yeah.
we're going to lay the cutlery wearing the white gloves,
Okay.
so that we don't get any smudges on them at all. Okay? But for practice, this is absolutely fine. But when we do it for the meal, we're going to do it in the white gloves.
So realistically, should everyone always have gloves when they're doing it?
For laying the table, yeah.
Like an anthropology.
What have you got?
Like an anthropology.
Then you don't.
I've never actually even heard of gloves before.
Oh, so you were leading an important
Yeah, just
point.
offer
Yes, this is a very good point. My colleague here points out, if you don't have gloves, you can do just the same with a glass cloth or a teacup, and you can hold the cutlery in that and give it a quick polish as you put it down.
Okay.
Put the glass down, like on the tray, like, or take it over to the table, holding it with the cloth so that you don't make it all yucky again. Or if you want to hold it without the cloth, just like that, so that you're not touching any of the bit of the glass.
And exactly where the
Yeah.
first
So-
placement should be.
It would normally be 1 inch forward, as in towards the centre of the furthest forward item of cutlery. So
With an ironing.
Oh. So
Oh,
1 inch
so
forward.
these
of
are
that.
off.
So I've just sent the butlers out to finish the table because they've laid a beautiful table, but you need to have a lovely tablescape to go with your table. And when you're in the middle of a beautiful countryside, it only makes sense to get some lovely ferns and flowers and things like that to go on it. But the only problem is, I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty much sunset. So they are against the clock to get this ready before it's dark. They really need to get a move on now. Where are they?
We're ready for a table.
Wow, what have you got there? Ferns, lovely. Oh, okay, this is going to be very exciting. You've actually got quite a lot. So this is the moment of truth now. They've just got to bring together all the elements that they've been working on to make this table really beautiful. And when you're looking at a setting like this, with a view like that, you've got to make sure that you make the table special. And I think you'll agree that they have. This is a special kind of table that tomorrow I'm going to teach them how to do a special kind of service on. I'm going to show them how a real butler serves their guests. So this has been day 2 of Butler School. Make sure you join me tomorrow for day 3, and I'm going to be doing content for the whole month. So you'll be able to see everything that happens on my Butler School on the beautiful Scottish Kelburn Castle. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.